when I first received it was its construction. I was hopeful for more. I wasn't expecting, you know, titanium or exotic materials, but I was hoping for a little stronger in the materials. What you don't notice on the web page is it all looks like it's either made out of a composite or a plastic, and you do know that there is aluminum as the frame, so I assumed, and that's where that usually gets you, is that it'd be mostly those materials. This right here is plastic, so is this. It's actually really nice, hard, dense plastic. This is aluminum right here down the frame of the actual weapon system, and the forward grip is also plastic. The accents right here, the actual grip body and the body itself all the way to the rear and the butt pad are, I'm assuming, a resined wood or a foam, a hard injection foam maybe. It has the feel of wood, like a pencil, like a number 2 pencil kind of a wood, but it has a plastic or resined, or it has a surface. The butt pad is probably the worst part of the whole weapon. It often, as you shoot, comes apart and will open. It's not really held on by much, but that's a nitpick. Everything's held together with Allen key bolts all the way through the system. It pretty much holds the whole weapon system together. I've only fired 30 rounds through this rifle, and I've already noticed 1 or 2 nitpicks, and that's the only things that I would ask. The materials. Their hinges are held together with screws, which are an obvious fail point. Already I'm going to have to go home and tighten most of these Allen key bolts, as first firings have already loosened them. In the installation, which is my biggest nitpick, it's the only way to do it, unfortunately. This handguard, or Picatinny rail that's on top, it literally holds the rifle to the stock in a sandwich. It has little hooks and little holes that thread together with these bolts. One's already broken, which means that the Picatinny rail is already cockeyed, which means I've torqued it too much. My mistake, but it lasted 5 or 6 shots. I have it to the point where it is steady, but there is wiggle in the stock and weapon itself. I'm going to have to get a replacement part. What I would suggest is that the screw that holds these together be moved farther down the receiver into a larger, meatier portion of the stock of the conversion kit itself. That way there's more to hold on to, and not just these little lips that broke almost instantly. The trigger system. The trigger system runs on a single bar to the trigger. There is not enough force on this trigger system to push the trigger back into the forward battery, which means you physically have to pull the trigger forward. Hopefully that will result in your ability to fire again. Now, right now, it's not doing it, and I think that's because, well, I don't know why. With ammunition, it fires, and there's no real issue. except for having to pull that trigger into the forward battery to fire again. I haven't experienced any stoppages because of the trigger system, other than the fact that you have to push the trigger forward. My only recommendations on the trigger system, as I said before, is take the single bar system that runs to the trigger and make it a dual bar system. One that has a bar on both sides of the trigger that runs to the actual rifle trigger. That way there's no flex in the soft sheet metal trigger bar that you have. And add another spring to the inside of the trigger. That way you don't necessarily have to force it forward every time you want to shoot. It takes a semi-automatic weapon and brings it down to bolt action rifle system. The Picatinny rail on top. I have a Mars sight, which you may have seen in the shooting portion. It's one of the larger sights that you're going to find. It doesn't fit. If it was a couple millimeters longer, it would, and another maybe channel here, it would totally fit. My M68 will totally fit on here. Most rifle scopes will fit on here. So that being an issue on my end is purely a nitpick. High cap mags that we saw in the shooting portion, very close. It's almost impossible to get them in here. I mean, it's a curmudgeon. You have to fidget and futz to get that into the locked position on the weapon itself, and then it's a finagle to get it in to the stock itself. I hope that there are retrofit kits in the future, i.e. when better materials become available or fixes in the near future come about, refinements to this design, that there'll be a retrofit kit to update these platforms so that they only get better. I can't wait to get the Mosin Nagant. My only trepidations on that is I hope that there's a more solid mounting, as it is a bolt action rifle, and its accuracy is based on the platform it sits. So hopefully it has a very rigid, solid mounting system. Again, I'm willing to spend money into this program so that maybe I can glass bead that stock to the rifle for even more stability between the rifle and the conversion kit. I really do like the system. From a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a high point and 10 being a scar as far as quality goes, I'm going to have to put this around the 5. I would go higher to 6 or 7, but it will have to get better. I'm hoping that the owner, Bernie Rolfe, who designed and I'm assuming manufactures these, only makes this an evolution. I hope that it gets extremely better. I hope the materials get more solid. I assume, again, that this will get better over time. Hopefully it does. It's a fairly decent system. I really like it. I hope that it gets better. I hope more people invest in Bernie Rolfe and his center balance rifle platform systems. Other than that, this is my review of the center balance rifle platform systems SKS Bullpup conversion. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Look up center balance rifle platform systems, and I hope you buy these. I hope you invest, and I hope we keep Bernie making interesting designs.